Hey guys, what's up, it's iFlynn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Mesa in Warframe. Now, I did make a Mesa Umbral build video like 2 days ago, but that didn't really explain how the frame works, and I get a lot of questions on livestream being like, yo Flynn, how are you dealing so much damage with Mesa saying you only have like a duration build, or why do your regulators deal so much damage, or how did you just completely annihilate that entire wave of enemy type of thing? And to me, that just kind of shows like misunderstanding of how the mods sort of interact with the abilities type of thing. Because you kind of get like knee-jerk questions like, yo, why are you not modding for power strength? Because people just straight up assume like the more power strength the better on these types of frames, which isn't necessarily true. So I'm going to kind of be debunking that in today's video and stuff like that as well. So yeah, this is Mesa. She's like a tank and spank DPS frame. So you have a damage buff on your 1, you have a damage buff on your 2, you've got damage reduction on your 3, and you've got basically just a shit ton of damage on your 4, implying you're looking at the enemy that you want to kill. On your 2, you also have like a little blind effect, and your 3 is going to reflect enemy damage right back at them, which is pretty cool as well. So just to kind of give you an idea of how sort of insane Mesa is, we're going to be testing versus level 110 heavy gunners, because those are the types of enemies that as a casual player you'll come across if you're playing like story level content. So let's just go ahead and spawn level 110 in. And one thing that I want to point out just before we go on with this video, some people have the misconception that if the enemies are paused, you get stealth damage, which is 8 times more damage. You don't get that with guns, you only get that with melee, so just clearing that up first. So yeah, so this is Mesa. You press your 2, you press your 3, you press your 4, you hold down left click, and then they're all dead. You kind of just snipe them. How I like to play her is I jump up in the air, and I just hold it down, and everything's dead. And you can see how, like, at lower levels, you're gonna more or less, like, wipe entire waves of enemies. Because if we, like, made those enemies, like, level 50, they wouldn't stand a chance, right? Because the only reason that they really survived a decent bit there is because they had armor that scales with their levels. So the higher their level, the more armor they have, and the more armor they have, the more resistant they are to your damage, right? So yeah, so check this out. You know, like where are they? You know, that's level 50 enemies, right? So they just kind of get demolished. And if you're playing like just relic missions or whatever, bringing Mesa is just, it makes anything trivial, really. So she is a really insanely good frame once you get the right mods on. And this isn't even using the Umbral build, right? This is using the build that I would recommend to a lot of newer players coming into the game. And the point that I want to get across with that is this build doesn't have a lot of power strength, right? This has 145% power strength. The real damage dealer with Mesa is your regulator builds, or your regulators build. So it's a crit build. So you have Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, and Lethal Torrent for your main damage. Then you have Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker for your crit chance and crit damage, which you can use the regular versions if you don't have the primed. Then you have your Elemental combo, which depending on the types of enemies you're going against is going to differ. So if you're playing against heavy gunners, it's going to be corrosive. Playing against bombards, it's going to be radiation, so on and so forth. And then we have anemic agility on here to up the fire rate. Now, some people would argue that modding for fire rate over Hornet Strike would be more worth it on Mesa, because you just get more shots off a lot quicker, and because of how damaging Peacemakers already are, it would make a little bit of sense, at least in the lower level content. So if we were to, for example, run, what's the mod called? It escapes me right now. Why does it always do this? Like, whenever I'm making a video, the name of the mod escapes me, but whenever I'm just casually playing, it's like, oh yeah, I know the name of that mod. It's like, it's the fire rate mod. Let's just go ahead and type fire rate. There we go. Gunslinger. So yeah, check this out. If we spawn on level 100, or not 150, but level 50, get our energy, press our 2, press our 3, jump in the air, you know? So they're kind of dead just because you're getting a lot of shots off very fast type of thing. And because like not every single enemy is going to be a heavy gunner, it makes it even easier. So Lancers just have like lower any armor scaling type of thing, just because they're a weaker enemy, kind of. So let's go ahead and get some Lancers in the mix. 7 of them, simulate. So they're like over here. So if you just jump, they're all dead, right? And that's because you're modding for fire rate, so you can just kind of get more shots off a little bit faster type of thing. So it's really down to you whether or not you want to mod for Hornet Strike or fire rate. The reason that my fire rate is so insanely fast is because I have Arcane Velocity, which is going to give me more fire rate on critical hit. Because the regulators are crit pistols technically, then those are always proccing like pretty much all times, because you have an extremely high crit chance on the regulators at 71%, right? So you're critting most of the time, you're getting a fire rate buff, you can mod for fire rate, you can mod for damage. Personally, I just like having Hornet Strike on there to kind of be like one and done, you know, because I just pop the guy's head and he's dead. But yeah, so covering the preconceived misconceptions about Mesa, people, whenever they see this build, the knee-jerk reaction is, why don't you mod for more Pyre Strength? And the reason for that being is Pyre Strength doesn't necessarily give you that much more damage on your regulators. Sure, it's going to buff up your 2, giving you more of a damage buff, so you're going to get like, I don't know, like maybe 41% damage buff if you use like the Umbral mods right here. So if we go Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality, we should be able to fit that on. Why can't I fit that on? Okay, yeah, I know why. It's because I have a, there we go. I just need to do this. Umbral Vitality. So there we go. You see that my Pyre Strength was increased there, and we have a 41% damage buff on my shooting gallery, which is pretty good, right? There's no complaints there. You have a 41%, which is awesome. But what you'll notice is the damage multiplier on Peacemaker only went up in like decimal form, right? So if we were to go back and we only put on regular Intensify, where's it at? There we go. You'll notice that we still have a 2 times multiplier, but it's 2.14. So you're increasing damage not that much. That's like the easiest way I can explain it type of thing. So yeah, sure, you're modding for more Pyre Strength, but you're not getting that much more Pyre Strength. If you're able to take that, if you were able to take that up to a 3 times multiplier, sure, it might be worth it. But you're sacrificing other things like duration on your Shatter Shield, duration on your shooting gallery, which in my opinion just isn't really worth it. With the build that I'm showing you, you get that damage buff from your 2, and you have that damage reduction on your 3, and it's very low maintenance, right? Which gives you more time to just run around and murder things with your Peacemaker, right? So let's just go ahead and run the Umbral Intensify real fast. Okay, hold on. I put on the V polarity for whatever reason. And 168% Pyre Strength with 1000 health. And then we also have the same duration, which is 91 seconds, and 76 duration on your Shatter Shield. So it's a very low maintenance build, but you still get like really good effects, right? And you're still dealing that insane damage versus the super high level enemies, such as the level 155. So let's try against the Lancers. There's a mixture of them up here, so this is perfect. So like, you just murder them. They're all dead. You know, like, what's the point in building for more Pyre Strength if you're just going to kill these guys insanely quickly anyway, you know? That's kind of my argument behind it. Because they're all dead. In what time, you know? And whenever you take into consideration that you're also going to be playing in a squad with other frames that are going to be buffing you or disarming the enemies or like just, you know, debuffing the enemies in some way, shape, or form, then I think this base Mesa build is pretty good. I had a guy, he came in my stream and he's like, Flynn, your build sucks. You're not going to be able to deal any damage 1 hour into survival. What did I do? I played an IR survival in the void on MOT and kind of showed him up. The biggest thing that you're gonna have to worry about with Mesa is the bombards, right? Because the bombard rockets are kind of buggy with shatter shields. Sometimes they reflect and sometimes they don't, so they'll kill you. You know, if they happen to hit you and just do the splash and then reflect type of thing. So it's kind of just a bug. That is one of Mesa's weakest downfalls, or biggest downfalls. So, yeah. So, mod for duration, have those insane buffs, and kill things. That's how you play Mesa. These here, Arcane Velocity, big, super big. You want to get these, if you can get 2 rank 3 of these, which is 20 of those Arcanes, and then you get that crit chance buff, or not crit chance buff, but fire rate buff on critical hit, then that's going to up your damage by a lot. So it's like 60% chance for 80% more fire rate to pistols for 6 seconds. And because your regulators counts as pistols, then you get that towards them, right? So you just deal insane damage. So you have your 2, which is given a 41% damage buff, your 3 with a 95% damage reduction, and then your 4, which is a multiplicative increase to your damage of 2.5, plus the crit, and all that good stuff, and your elemental damage, etc, 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 and you just kind of murder them extremely quickly because of all that fire rate. Now, another thing that I want to write to home as well is like the fact that she is kind of like a tank and spank frame, right? So if we were to go ahead and turn off the pause AI, and we spawn in, like, let's say 5 heavy gunners, 5 of them, and we'll spawn them in at level 110. Oops. Okay, they're already shooting me. That's good. Kill them. So let's go. Here we go. So if you press your 2, if you walk up close to them, I'm gonna hit my 3 as well. If you walk up close to them, it's gonna disarm them. So check this out. You see how some of them, like, their gun is jammed right there? It just kind of ups your survivability. Okay? That, and you have the damage reduction from your 3. So if an enemy gets up close, this ability is going to prevent them from meleeing you, because they're going to try to fix their gun, which is big, because melee damage still deals full damage to you, even though you have the 95% damage reduction, because the 95% damage reduction only applies to bullets and projectiles type of thing. But like I mentioned, the bombard rockets are kind of buggy. Sometimes the bombard rockets won't be reflected, and they'll still deal the damage to you, at least the splash damage, right? If it does happen to reflect the rocket, but it still gets the damage off, that's whenever it's really annoying. That's what ends up killing you in those really long survivals. So realistically, with my Umbral Mesa build, you're not making it for the power strife. You're more making it for the health, right? And the survivability and stuff like that, because that 95% damage reduction plus the over 1000 health, and if you unequip a melee weapon, it's going to be even more, which I don't think I have a melee weapon equipped right now. But if you equip one, it lowers it a little tiny bit. So right now we have 1112. We put on a melee weapon, and we have 1062. So I would still recommend running the melee weapon, like a spin the win Zaw or something, you know, like I'm top damage, which is a new Zaw that I've made, which I might make a video on soon. That'll allow you to slide crit and stuff, so you can just go ahead, hit your 2. Nice, I'm dead. You can hit your 2 and you hit your 3. Let's go ahead and pick up this. Hit your 2, hit your 3, and then you just go ahead and melee your way around type of thing, and then use your Peacemaker to kind of finish people off as well. That's really cool too. So I don't know, there's loads of different ways to play Mesa. I guess the biggest downfall will be I guess your energy, like keeping your energy up. But if you're using Zeneric or you have a EV Trinity in your squad, it should be pretty easy, you know? Like it's a 3.75 drain per second on your Peacemakers. And realistically, whenever I'm using it, I like I mentioned, I just jump up in the air. So let's go ahead and pause the AI again. I jump up in the air after I've hit my 2 and my 3, like this, and then I press my 4, and then hold down the left click, and then everything kind of dies. So that's how I do it. So what I'd be doing in something like an Orican defense is I'd be jumping up, and then spinning my mouse around, like so, and then that'll like allow me to kill everything. I guess also your biggest downfall will be nullifier bubbles. And for that, what I would say is bring a dual wield secondary, or just a secondary that has a high fire rate, because keep in mind, Mesa's passive, if we go ahead and bring it up, shoot dual wielded sidearms faster and reload single handed sidearms more rapidly. So 2 things I'd recommend: Axe Stilettos, Aximati, Twin Ricatas, for that extra fire rate, so you can just kind of shred those nullifier bubbles. Let's see if I actually have any of these guys. Nullifiers, yep, I do. So if we unpause the AI, simulate this boy, I'll let him see me. So you see his nullifier bubble right there? You can either shoot that little thing, and I'll completely pop it from the get-go, or you can just shoot it like that, and then murder him like so. So It's up to you. You don't want to be going into that bubble because that's going to strip your damage buff and your damage reduction. So that'll suck. So that's why you want to prevent that from happening. So use a dual wield secondary to pop those super fast. Then go on the Peacemaker to finish him off. And then just jump up in the air and murder everything else around you. So yeah, that's kind of Mesa in a nutshell. Let's get Butcher's select all, simulate, get my energy, and have some fun with this. So yeah, you know, that's the types of enemies that you're going to be seeing most frequently in something like Avoid Survival or Defense. So you just kind of murder them, you just pop them off, and yeah, that's Mesa. Really insane frame, no touchy. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button below. If you want to see more how to play guides about other frames, I think the next one that I'm going to cover is like Octavia, because not a lot of people understand how you can kind of just kill a heavy gunner level 100. Can't speak. Level 155 heavy gunner just by standing still. So yeah, have fun murdering everything with Mesa. I'll see you guys in the next video.